Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Conceptual Medico. In this video, I am going to discuss about the gate control theory of pain. Now in my last video of physiology of pain, I have discussed about the definition of the pain. That is, pain is an unpleasant sensation and emotional experiences. And types of pain, pain may be acute or chronic. Then fibers of pain, fast pain fibers, slow pain fibers, then the ascending and descending pathway of pain. Now, before knowing the gate control theory of pain, we should have an idea of ascending and descending pathway of pain. I have discussed this in detail in my last video. Please go and check my last video on physiology of pain. But still, I am going to discuss the substantial gelatinosa events so that we can get an idea before we start the gate control theory. Let's have a recap of the ascending pathway of pain. Here if we have our cerebrum, cerebellum and somatosensory cortex. We have our cross section of the brain. This is the right side and this is the left side. A person who have a pinprick sensation on his right hand, what will happen here? The inflamed cell will get activated and they will secrete prostaglandin, which is our PG, and these prostaglandin will stimulate our first order neuron here, and this first order neuron will synapse with the second order neuron, and second order neuron will cross over and it will ascend upward through spinothalamic tract and will reach the thalamus. At the thalamus, the second order neuron will synapse with the third order neuron, and then the perception of the pain is felt. Now, here, events taking place at substantial gelatinosa. I'm going to talk about it later. Let's start with today's topic, that is the gate control theory. Now, the gate control theory is proposed in 1965 by Meljack and Wall. That Ronald Meljack and Patrick Wall. Now, they have explained the underlying mechanism by which the pain can be suppressed. For example, suppose we have injured our right palm here. Now, rubbing the area can reduce the experience of pain. Pain stimulus are transmitted from the periphery to the CNS by a very lightly myelinated A delta fibers or non-myelinated C fibers, which makes the first order neuron. Now, the first order neuron synapses with the second order neuron in the substantial gelatinosa of the spinal cord. Now, taking a close look at the substantial gelatinosa, we can see that the pain signal is transmitted from the first order to the second order neuron by substance P and glutamate, which is released by the first order neuron, and these binds with the receptor of the second order neuron, forming an EPS, that is excitatory postsynaptic potential in the membrane of second order neuron, leading to action potential that carries through the second order neuron. The second order neuron will cross to the opposite side. Here, if you can see that the second order neuron crosses the opposite side of the spinal cord and it sends the contralateral signals all the way to the thalamus by a way, that is spinothalamic tract. That which means that the first order neuron will secrete the substance P and glutamate, and these substance P and glutamate will bind to the receptor of the second order neuron. Now, the second order neuron, and as it binds, it creates an action potential in the second order neuron, and that stimulus is carried by the second order neuron up along the spinothalamic tract to the thalamus. Now, These at the thalamus, the second order neuron will synapse with a third order neuron, and then it extends from the thalamus. Third order neuron will extend from the thalamus to the postcentral gyrus of parietal lobe. Where the signal reaches this area of parietal lobe, the person will become consciously aware that he is in pain. Once the third order neuron from the thalamus goes to the postcentral gyrus of the parietal lobe, the signal will reach this area of the parietal lobe and the person will become conscious that he is having the pain. The path of the pain now can be interrupted at the level of the substantia gelatinosa in the spinal cord, which act as a gate. Now, in gate control theory, according to the Ronald Maljack and Patrick Wall, the pain stimulus transmitted by the efferent pain fibers are blocked by gate mechanism. We are talking about the same gate mechanism which is happening in the substantia gelatinosa. Now, if the gate is open, the pain is felt, and if the gate is closed, the pain is suppressed. Now, let's go back again to the substantia gelatinosa and see how the pain is inhibited. The signals for the deep touch is transmitted by the dorsal column medial lemnicus, and this system sends ipsilaterally or on the same side of the dorsal column of the spinal cord to the medulla oblongata, and where it will cross over in the medial lemniscus of the brainstem. It is the DCML pathway that can inhibit the pain signals. Now let's see at the picture of the substantia gelatinosa. When the DCML is activated by deep touch, it activates some inhibitory neurons. Now these inhibits pain signals by releasing inhibitory neurotransmitters like enkephalin. Enkephalin is an opioid. So enkephalin will bind with the opioid receptors at the membrane of the axon terminal, which at the first order neuron, which will close the calcium channels at the first order neuron to release substance P. Now, as the release of substance P is stopped or inhibited at the synapse between the first and the second order neuron, so the pain stimulus or the signals won't be transmitted to the second order neuron, and hence the pain is suppressed. Let's talk about the role of the brain in the gate control theory. We know about the gate control theory. Now a new term is added, that is brain. Brain, what it will do is, we need to know how the brain helps in gate control theory. It is very easy, nothing complicated. Now in the gate control theory, if the gate in the spinal cord or in substantia gelatinosa is not closed, then what will happen? The pain by ascending pathway will reach the thalamus, and at the thalamus it will then send to the sensory cortex, and then we have the perception, or the person will have the perception of the pain. Now the perception of the pain occurs in cortical level in context of the person's emotional status and previous experiences. Now all this information, that is a person's emotional status and previous experiences, will add up, or it will add up to the severity and the extent of the pain. And what the brain will do to minimize the severity and the extent of the pain, the brain will now send a message back to the spinal cord to close the gate. And how it will do? It will release a pain reliever such as opioid peptides, and these opioid peptides will block the pain and the person will feel less pain. Now, significance of pain gate theory. Thus, the gating of the pain of the spinal cord is similar to the presynaptic inhibition. How it is similar? In my previous video, I have talked about the presynaptic inhibition, that is how the first order neuron is inhibited to release substance P, and then the second order neuron will not send the pain fiber or pain sensation up to the brain. Now same thing happens at the gate control theory also. The touch fibers will send the signals, the touch signals will inhibit the sensation of the pain fibers from being transmitted from the first order neuron to the second order neuron. So how? Now it is like if we rub the area, or if we if we massage the area or apply ice pack, if we rub the area or if we apply ice pack or massage the area, or any electrical stimulation is given to that area from where the pain sensation is being transmitted, the touch fibers are also activated. Now, these touch fibers will then inhibit the transmission of the pain at the first order and the second order neuron, between the first order and the second order neuron, and hence the pain is not transmitted up to the thalamus and not transmitted up to the thalamus and then to the cerebral cortex. Now all these techniques, rubbing, massage techniques, applying of ice pack, then acupuncture, then electrical analgesics will relieve the pain by stimulating the release of endogenous pain relievers, that is opioid peptides, which will close the gate and block the pain stimulus. We have this opioid peptide will also be secreted by the brain here, as we can see, so that the brain can send the signal to the spinal cord to close the gate. So the same thing. Everything is correlated. So you need to know the physiology of the pain, and then you have to come back and you have to see this video. Thank you, and please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Share it with your friends, and bye.